Hello everyone, I'm again back with a video onto the SQL interview questions. These questions which I'll be solving into this video were asked into a top fintech company to the round 1. So I'll be solving all of these problems. Either you can just follow along with me into this particular video, or alternatively you can just solve all these problems. So I would be displaying all the questions after this particular screen. After that you can just watch for my approach and my solutions if you want to. Attached all the data sets into the description box of this video, so you can go and download from there and you can just start solving right now. But before that, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't, because I'll be bringing much more different kind of videos like this onto the SQL interview questions. So you can write your answers into the comment box of this video so that it can help me as well as all the other people who are watching this video. Without wasting much time, let us quickly move to our data set and let us start solving the problems. As you can see here, I have 4 problems into this video, and these problems were asked into the round 1 of the SQL interview. So I have 2 data sets here. First data set is of the customers. So into the very first column I have the customer ID, customer name, customer age, and the state from which the customer they belong from. The other table is of the order, and into this I have the customer ID, the order ID of the order which they have purchased, the order date, and the amount of the order they have purchased. And with the help of these 2 data sets, I need to solve these 4 problems which you can see here. Let us quickly move to the very first problem and let us see what it is saying. So you can see, write a query to get the customer name and count of orders purchased in April 2021 and May 2021. So what is the output which we want to generate here? So into the very first column I want to generate the name of the customer. Into the second column I want to get the count of orders which has been purchased, like the count of orders. And into the next column I want to get it for just the month, like April. So for customer name, let's say Ram, I'll just take here number of orders which were purchased into the month of April. Similarly the customer name Ram, so I need to do this again into the month of May. Similarly I need to do this for every other customers if they have any order purchased into all of these months. So I want to generate this kind of data. Let us see how to do this. So friends, I have imported the same data set into my SQL Server Management Studio. So you can see here I'm having the same data set here. Let me execute the statement once more. So I'm just getting the same data set. So the very first logic which we can get here is somehow getting the month value, such as in terms of April and May, and from there on we'll be filtering out the data just for April and May, because we are just concerned for these 2 months right now. So into our data set there might be a case like we are having the month details or the order details for all the different months. So first of all we just need to filter out our data for the April and the May month, and after that we can just proceed with our query. But the very first thing which we should do is this particular thing. So somehow if we can just get the month value from each of the dates, so our query would be very much easy. So you can see I'm having this order date column here. So I'll just write this function which is month, and here I need to provide the date column name. And what does this month function it does? So it will extract the month value from all these dates. So I'll just rename the column or provide the exact column name. I'll just execute the code. So you can see I'm getting the month value from each of the dates, and this is pretty much correct. We know that April is the 4th month and May is the 5th month, so we are just concerned with April and May. So I would just write here where month of order date in, so I'll just provide here 4 and 5, because you can see I'm getting 6 also here or 3 also. We are not concerned with all of these, we are just concerned with data for April and May. So I'll just filter out this particular data for now. So if I'll just execute the code, you can see I'm just getting the data for the 4th month and the 5th month. After this it is pretty much clear. So for each of the month and for each of the customer I just want to count the number of orders they have purchased. So if you know the group by function, it is very much easy. So I would just do a simple select customer ID comma month, and here after this I would need to give a count because we just need to count the number of orders that has been purchased. So here I need to do here count of, let's say, distinct, I'll give here order ID because number of orders I need to count here, so I need to provide this. And at the very last you can see what is the kind of output which we need to generate. So we need to get the name of the customer and the month, name of the customer and the month. So here we need to group by onto the basis of two columns, which is the customer ID and also the month. So I need to provide this here. Let us execute the code. So you can see I'm getting the answer. So for customer ID 1 into the month 4, I'm getting count as 2. For customer ID 5 into the month 4, I'm getting the count as 1. So these are the different details. All the details like what we wanted, we have got into our answer. If you want to rename or replace this 4 with April and 5 with May, you can use the case when statement to do this. So I would just write here, I'll just provide this into the bracket, and using the case when statement I would write a select, let's say, customer ID case when month is equal to 4, then April, else May end as month, comma, count from, and I'll again execute the code. Okay, I need to give this within the quotes because this is a string. So you can see here we have got the answer. So into the April month and the May month, we are getting the desired answer which was required into the question. So with the help of the group by function, we have solved this particular question. Let us move to the question number 2. Let us see what it is saying. So you can see here we need to write a query to get customer names who bought in May 2021 and are from Jharkhand. So this should be May and not many. So we need to get or write a query to get the customer names who bought in May 2021 and are from Jharkhand. So this is also pretty much clear. Also one more thing is we needed to get the name of the customers, and into the previous answer we have just got the ID of the customer. So we need to join this with our very first table. I just missed this particular thing also. So I would do here a select C dot, I would need to get the, okay, D dot name comma C dot month and C dot count from this inner join orders D on D dot. So what is the column which we need to join both of these tables? So we should join onto the basis of the customer ID because that is the common column onto the both of these tables. So I would write here, let me first display the very first table so that I can just get the column names from there. So I would do a select star from customers and select star from orders. Execute the code. Okay, so this should be ID and this should be customer ID. So I should write here D dot ID is equal to C dot customer ID. That's it is required. Just execute the code here. So Okay, this should be customers. I've just mentioned the wrong table name. Yep, this is now correct. So I'll just execute the code. So friends, you can see I'm getting the name alongside with the month name and the count of orders which has been purchased by each of the customers. So this is according to the question which they have asked. So this is the correct answer. So the second question was add-on to the very first question only. So we need to just filter out the data for May 2021 and also the customers who are from Jharkhand. Let's use the inner query which we had done to generate the month for each of the order date, and we'll be using this to filter out the data this time just for the May month. So I'll remove 4 also here, and let us execute the query. So with the help of this query, I'll be getting the details for all the orders which were purchased into the May month. Now after this, what we need to do, we also need to filter out the details for all the people who are from Jharkhand, and we want to generate the customer name. Now here the customer name and the address, if you would see, this is present into the customers table. So we need to join both of these tables, and the common column is the ID. So I would do a subquery onto this, and I would write here select here a dot star comma b dot we need to get the address. So what is the, okay, we need to get the state. So I would write here b dot state, and I need to get here b dot name as well. From this inner join, the other table was the customers b on b dot id is equal to a dot customer id. That's it. Let us execute the query from here. So you can see we are getting the details for all the customers who have purchased any item into the month of May. Now from this, I just need to filter out the data for the customers who are from Jharkhand. So I would write here where, or I will use the where clause. Where what? So where b dot state, I need to provide this in. So I would write here Jharkhand, and I'll execute this code again. So you can see we have got the details for all the customers who have purchased any product into the May 2021 and are from Jharkhand. Now here you can see into the data set which I am having right now, I am having the data just for the 2021. So if the data was for any of the other date, I would have used the same thing like I'm using for the months. For getting the month, I'm using the month function. So into that case, I would also use the year function to extract year from all of these states, and I would get the year into a next column or a separate column for all the years from all of those states. Now if I need to filter out the data just for 2021 or for multiple years, 2020, 2022, let's say, so I would just use where clause to filter out the respective data or the relevant data. But here you can see I am having the data just for 2021, so I don't think I need to use the year function, but this was just additional tip I just wanted to give here right now. So let us move to the third question. So the very first two questions are sorted. The third question, it says write a query to get customer name this time and their latest order information. Also into the query 2, we just wanted to get the, let's say, the name only. So all these were not required, you can just remove. And if I'll just execute the code from here, you can see I'm just getting the name, and here I would just write here distinct, because you can see I'm getting the same name twice. So if I would use the distinct function, you would see that we are getting the name just once, because there can be a case that the customer has purchased more than once into the same month. So that is the chance that we'll be getting multiple duplicate values for the same customer name. So that is why it is recommended to use this distinct function here. So you can see we are filtering out the duplicate for just one value. So friends, the third question, it says write a query to get the customer name and their latest order information. We need to get the customer name, and with all this customer name we want to generate, or we want to know what is the latest order information, such as the order ID, the order amount, and such kind of different things. So let us see how to do this. So the very first thing which we need to do is just join both of these tables first of all. So let us write a query to join both of these tables. So I would write here select a dot star comma b dot star from orders a in inner join customers b on a dot. So into the orders table you can see a dot customer id. I would need to provide here a dot customer id is equal to b dot id. Let us execute the code. So you can see we have joined both of these tables onto the basis of the customer ID. Now why do we need to provide the join? So that we can get the customer name, because in each of the question they are saying we don't want to get the customer ID, we want to get the customer name. So that is why we need to require to join both of these tables to get the customer ID as well as the customer name. So from here you can see we have got the answer. Now after this we need to get the latest order information for each of the customer. Now friends, after this you can see, like if we use the rank function here, let's say, and I'll do here over, and we need to order by onto the basis of the order date column, and also we need to order onto the basis of the descending order, so that the order date, which is the very latest one, would get the rank 1. So we are just concerned with the latest order information as they have mentioned into the question. So if we use the rank function to order all these orders for each of the respective customers onto the basis of the order date, so we'll be getting the latest order information. So I would do here order by order date descending, but we are doing this not for just a single customer, we are doing the same operation for all the customers. So for example, we'll be having the, let's say, for order customer id 1. So let's say this is the customer id column and this is the order id column, and the order id, let's say these all are mentioned here along with the order date. Let's say there are some dates mentioned, so and to present some dynamic date values here, so I would just do this. So you can see I'm getting multiple dates here. So for all of these dates, for all of these order IDs and this customers ID, you can see for each of the customer I want to do or provide the rank for each of the order IDs, because for each of the customer I want to get the latest product information. So I need to provide the rank and partition by onto the basis of the customer ID. So for each of the partitions you can see a rank would be provided. So the latest date would be provided the rank 1, next it would provided rank 2, 3 and 4. So this kind of information I want to generate. Similarly here the same thing would happen. And after this, let's say the data has been generated, I would need to filter out the data for the rank is equal to 1. So this is the logic which I'll be using, so that I'm getting the latest product information. You can see latest order information, you can see I need to generate. So this is the logic which I'll be using. So I'll be writing here partition by so customers b dot id I would give, and order by order date. So order is a dot order date, and this should be into the descending order. Let us execute the query. Let us see what is the output which we are generating after this. Okay, this should be rank, my bad. I'll just select only this. So you can see I'm getting the rank for each of the dates here. and this is the output which we needed to generate, but we are only concerned with the latest product information, latest order information. So I would filter out the data just for the latest product where rank is equal to 1. So I would just write here where rank is equal to 1, and this is the data which I need to generate. And I would write here select name comma order id from, yes, that is all which we require. I'll just execute the code. So friends, you can see for each of the name, customer name, I am getting the order id, which is the latest order id which has been purchased for each of the customers. Like you can get all the other columns as well here. So I would, let's say, get the order date and also the rank column as well. Let us execute the code. So you can see I'm getting just rank 1 values here, because that is the thing which we required. We wanted to generate the latest order information. So this is how the problem it is solved using the rank function. So you can see to the interviews they can ask some advanced level problems onto the window functions, rank functions as well. So we need to write a query to get top 2 customer id and name based on total transaction value for each of the month. Okay, so for each of the month, for April, let's say, for May, let's say, I want to get the top 2 customer ID which has purchased items in the month of April. Similarly, top 2 customer IDs and names who have purchased into the month of May. So we want to generate this particular data. So you can see this particular question, it comes with multiple things to solve. So the very first thing which we need to generate here into the same question is the month from each of the dates, because onto the basis of the month only we'll be getting for each of the month which is the customer who has spent, top 2 customers who has spent the most amount. Also before that we need to get the customer ID as well as the name. So we need to join both of these tables, the customers and the order table. So into that case, I would just copy this particular query from here and I would paste this query. I don't want to get the rank right now, so I would remove this. First of all, let me see what is the output which is being produced here. Now, from the order date, you can see, let us get the month from all of these order date. So I would write here month bracket and order date is into the orders table. So orders table is A, we have given. So I'll write here order date month. I'll just execute the code. So you can see I'm getting the month from here, from all of these order date. Now we have got the month. After this, what we need to do? So we need to write a query to get top 2 customers ID and name based on the transaction value for each of the month. So there can be a case like the customers, they have purchased multiple orders into the same month. So we want to aggregate just to get the total amount which the customers they have spent into that particular month, into each of the month. We want to get this data. So to get this data, we need to group by onto the basis of the customer ID and sum up onto the basis of the amount column which you can see here, so that we are getting the total amount which the customer they have spent into that particular month. So we want to get the top 2 customers who have purchased the most into that particular months. So here I need to do one more thing. I need to give a sum over amount column, and amount is into the orders table. This is the total, let's say total amount, and we need to group by to get this aggregate, the sum total of the products which has been purchased. We need to group by our output onto the basis of the customer ID. So we need to write here b.id. So I would need to get this month here. So right here month, and I don't think we would require all of these columns, so we want to aggregate onto the basis of the b.id. So let us just keep this b.id here, and let us also get b.name, because we want to get the id as well as the name of the customers. We would also need to provide this b.name into the aggregate, and also this one, because for each month we require the total amount which has been purchased. So that is why we need to provide all of these columns into the group by. If I would not provide this month column, so it would give me the data or the total amount into the history, like whatever the customer have purchased till now. But if I would use this month, I would add this into the group by clause. So after this, our data or the output which I'll be getting, that would be distributed basis onto the month. We have here onto the Excel, you could see. So for April month, for RAM, what is the total amount which has been purchased? For May month, what is the total amount which has been purchased by RAM? So this is the kind of output which we need to generate. After that, with the help of that output, we'll be getting the top 2 purchases in each of the months. So friends, you can see here we have got the total amount which has been purchased by each of the customers. Now after this, we have got the total transactional value for each of the month. You can see we have got this data. Now we need to write a query to get the top 2 customer id and name based on the total transaction value in each month. So here we need to use the rank function, and we'll be ranking onto the basis of the total amount obviously, and partitioning onto the basis of the each of the month. So I would write here select star comma rank over partition by month, and within each month I need to provide a rank to all of my rows. And onto what basis do I need to provide the rank? So I need to provide the rank onto the basis of the amount of total amount which has been purchased by the customer. So I would write here total amount, and this should be into the descending order, because for the highest purchasing customer I want to give the rank as 1. So that is why I need to provide this into the descending order rank from that's it. Let us execute the code. So friends, you can see I'm getting the rank here for each of the month and for each of the customers. Now from this particular rank which we have provided, we need to get the top 2 customers. So after this, we need to filter out the top 2 customers from my data set which we are getting right now. So I will just write here select r from this, and we need to write here where rank is less than 3, so that I'm getting all of these rank values which is less than 3 for each of the month. So I would just execute the code. So you can see into the 4th month here, Suresh is the highest spender and Ram is the second highest spender, the data which we are getting right now. Similarly, into the 5th month, we are getting the similar data. Into the 6th month, there were just one customer only who have purchased. So we are just getting a single data. There were no more customers who had purchased into the 6th month. That is why we are not getting the 2 customers data. We are just getting a single customer data. Now earlier I would have not provided this particular let's say the filter, the subquery thing. So the output which I was getting is, so you can see here I was getting 3 rank values for the customers here into the month of May. So after I have used this particular subquery and I'm filtering out just to get the data for the top 2 customers, so from there on I'm getting the relevant answer which was asked during the interview. Also, one more thing, we should definitely use the dense rank function, not the rank function into all of these cases, because let's say if we are having the multiple values into all of those cases, the second rank would just vanish off. But we don't want to do this. We want to get the second rank value, so that is why we should definitely use the dense rank function into all of these cases. Because let's say the highest amount spent, which has been done, it has been done by two different customers, so the second rank would just vanish, but we want to get the second highest spender also. Into all those cases, we need to get the second highest value, so that is why we need to use the dense rank function, not the rank function. So friends, I hope you had found this video quite informational and useful, and I'll be bringing much more different videos onto the SQL interview questions, the real interview questions which are asked nowadays into the interviews. So don't forget to hit the like button if you had found this video quite useful, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't, to receive such kind of useful information. Meet you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.